What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel where we speak the truth and we're honest and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. That was the worst loss that I've ever experienced as a Dolphins fan. Truly, I've never had a roller coaster of emotions like I did since the playoff game against the Buffalo Bills. And even though we lost that game, there was some positivity to look out of that, even though we were eliminated. The way the team battled against the Buffalo Bills with Skylar Thompson as the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. I haven't felt that wave of emotion since that game. And this team, they totally shattered my heart in the first half, down 21-0. And then they come back in the third quarter and they bring me back up to life. I'm like, come on, baby. We're only down a touchdown. We just got to get stops and the offense got to do its thing. And then they shatter my heart when it's the most important moment of the game. And the defense did not cost us the game. Just want to pinpoint that right now. The defense for the Miami Dolphins was great, and they only allowed 14 points to the best quarterback in the NFL. That should be a win. You would think that if your defense holds one of the best offenses, if they hold Patrick Mahomes to 14 points, you'd be like, oh, wow, that's a convincing win for the Miami Dolphins. Nope. It was anything but that. The offense, when the defense had one of their better games of the season, the offense had their worst. And you can't run away from it now. This whole narrative of the Dolphins can't beat good teams and the Dolphins don't show up when they play good teams, they're right. They're right. You can't run away from it. And now, with this bye coming up next week, you're going to hear it for 2 weeks until they play the Raiders. And even then, okay, say they beat the Raiders. A win over the Raiders is not going to matter because they're not going to talk about a win over the Raiders or a win over the New England Patriots. They're going to talk about our losses against good teams because, folks, we're not playing the Patriots in the playoffs. We're not playing the Las Vegas Raiders in the playoffs. We're not playing the Denver Broncos in the playoffs. The teams that we're going to play in the playoffs are teams that we've lost to this season, which is Buffalo, Kansas City, and Philadelphia in the NFC. I'm blaming the officials because there was some missed calls that should have went the Chiefs' way, and there was some missed calls that should have went the Dolphins' way. So I'm not pinpointing any of this on the officials. I'm pinpointing on Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa, our coaching quarterback dynamic duo. I'm blaming this game on them. Mike McDaniel and the play calling right before halftime, I don't get. You got 2 chunk plays with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek, and then you decide to run a screen, and it immediately got blown up. Their defense made a play. Tyreek Hill fumbled. And by the way, Tyreek Hill talks all this shit, how he's going to put it to work against the Chiefs, and he comes out and he gives up a crucial fumble to give the Chiefs a 21-0 lead, and he dropped a big pass in the second quarter, and he only came up with 8 catches for 62 yards. That's not good enough, man. That's not good enough. They can have their little third quarter comeback, but the way they play the rest of the game, that's not good enough. And for the defense, again, I'm not pinpointing anything on the defense. They had 2 bad drives all game. 2. They had the first drive, and they had a drive in the second quarter. Besides that, they kept you in the entire game. They made key stops. They got a defensive turnover for you after you scored your first touchdown. They got you a stop on 3rd and 1 to give you one more chance to go win the game. And Tua Tagovailoa was abysmal. And that drive was the statement drive that you're the fucking MVP of this league. And clearly you're not. Underthrown by 10 yards. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a quarterback underthrow his receiver by 10 yards. And if he gets it to Cedric Wilson was wide open, that's a touchdown. And he underthrew him by 10 yards. And then the last play, I understand it was a high snap, but Tua had his balls, he had his hand on the ball, and he dropped it. So, is that your MVP? Because right now, he's not the MVP anymore. I don't know who the MVP is, to be honest with you. Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey. That's not Tua. You look at that last drive of the game. You make a statement that you're the MVP of the league. And those last 2 plays, that's what you come up with. And also on that previous drive, Savon Ahmed. Gosh. I cannot wait for Devon Achane to get back on this team, because once he's back, I better not see Savon Ahmed once on the field. I don't want to see him at all on the field. That end around loss of 6 yards changed that drive. So you now go from 1st and 10 to 2nd and 16. And then Tua gets sacked, and it's incomplete, and they punt. 2 chances. You had 2 chances to tie the game. And the offense pooped the bed. This was a swing of emotions. This was an unbelievable swing of emotions for me. I'm going to tell you all my tweets from the end of the first quarter, because I'm going to it's going to take up some time, but I don't care. I don't care about these 1 o'clock games. Fuck, I don't even care about football the rest of the day. I'm just going to tell you all my tweets from the end of the first quarter to show you how much of a swing of emotions I've been in this entire game. So this is my first tweet at the end of the first quarter. Typical Miami Dolphins heading into a big game, give up a touchdown on the first drive, lose a big player due to injury, which was Jalen Waddle, who was dealing with an injury most of the game. Play catch up to the other team. I thought jet lag was going to be a factor, but it's not. What a gross performance so far. Then this is my second tweet. Illegal shift penalty killed a drive for Miami, and then McDaniel proceeds to call a pitch play to Savon Ahmed on 3rd and 16. Another punt for the Dolphins. Chiefs are a really good tackling defense. Good grief, this offense is playing horrendous. Tyreek Hill drops a really good throw from Tua, and Jeff Wilson dropped a 3rd down pass. These guys are sleepwalking on the field. Sooner rather than later, the Chiefs are going to capitalize again. Right after I put that tweet out, they scored a touchdown. Right after I put that tweet out, that sooner rather than later, the Chiefs are going to capitalize, they scored a touchdown. As I said in my previous tweet, it was only a matter of time until Kansas City opened the floodgates. 95-yard drive, 95 yards downfield, and the Chiefs have control of the game. Jerick McKinnon easily gets into the end zone. This game is over. That was when the Dolphins were trailing 14-0. Then I say, I can't believe I woke up at 6:30 a.m. for this shit. F you, Miami Dolphins. That was right after the Tyreek Hill fumble, and they're down 21-0. If it wasn't for my podcast and my review, I do after every game. I'd be going back to bed right now, but I have no motivation to watch this second half. Then I put my phone down. I'm laying on the couch watching the game. Dolphins defense gets a fumble. Let's go. Zach Sealer recovers the ball after Bradley Chubb forces a fumble. Folks, I think the Dolphins have life. My next tweet after that, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Miami Dolphins are back in this game. You could not have convinced me Miami would make this close of a game, but after a defensive turnover, the Dolphins get a 23-yard touchdown by Raheem Mostert. That's right after the Dolphins score a touchdown, and they're down 21-14. Then I say, what a roller coaster of emotions I have during this game. I haven't felt like this since the playoff game against the Buffalo Bills. I was unmotivated, down 21-0, and now I'm on the edge of my seat. The Dolphins have to go 90 yards to tie the game. Then I have one more chance for the offense. I want to fucking throw up right now. And then, what the fuck was that pass? And then my final tweet was, I just don't know anymore. And then I say, that's the worst loss I've ever seen the Dolphins had. I'm not joking. I'm like in silence. That just goes to show you how this game was for me, man. What a joke. What a joke. And I'm telling you right now, we have games coming up against the Raiders, the Commanders, and the Titans. Those games are not going to matter. You can get wins. I'm still hyped as hell for the Titans game because that's the game I'm going to this year. But, they're not going to talk about those games. Without 8 games left, we play the Raiders, the Commanders, the Titans, the Jets twice, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills. Everybody is going to be looking at those 2 games against the Jets, the Dallas Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Bills. Nobody cares about those games against the Raiders, Commanders, and Titans. You can get the wins in those games. That's great, but can you get wins over the other 5 teams? And right now, they can't. They can't. So I'm telling you guys right now. And don't get mad at me because my title at the beginning of the video is I speak the honest and I speak honesty and I tell the truth. And I'm telling you the truth right now. You can bookmark this. You can video clip this. I'm a diehard Dolphins fan. I love my team. But I'm telling you right now, this team will finish 10-7 on the season, get the last wild card spot, and be out first round. They might not even get the last wild card spot. They could get around 5 or 6 or 7. One of those spots. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, they're going to end up being a wild card team. They're going to have to go on the road to Buffalo or to Cincinnati or to Baltimore in the first round, and they're going to lose. I'm telling you right now. Don't be mad at me because I'm just telling the truth. It's facts. Let's get into these gross statistics. Tua Tagovailoa, 21 for 34, 193 yards, and 1 touchdown. Not good enough. Raheem Mostert, 12 carries, 85 yards, and a touchdown. Dude had a great second half. I don't know why they got away from running the ball on that final drive. The first 2 plays were first down runs by Raheem Mostert. I don't know why you got away from that, but Mike Daniel did. Tyreek Hill, 8 catches, 62 yards. Not good enough. Jalen Waddle, 3 catches, 42 yards. Not good enough. Jeff Wilson, 3 catches, 32 yards. Not good enough. Cedric Wilson had 1 catch for 31 yards, which was a touchdown. Then you look at the defense. No interception. Zach Seiler led the team in tackles. Jalen Phillips had a sack. Bradley Chubb had a sack and a forced fumble. And those were the only sacks today. They got 2 sacks on Patrick Mahomes. Then you look at the Chiefs. And these stats go to show you how fantastic the defense played today. Mahomes, 20 for 30, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Again, the only 2 drives the Dolphins defense blundered on was the 2 touchdown passes from Mahomes. I'm not giving the defense any criticism besides those 2 drives. I'm not giving them any criticism because that's not what this loss is about. Isaiah Pacheco, 16 carries, 66 yards. Patrick Mahomes, 6 rushes, 24 yards. Noah Gray led the team in receiving. 3 catches, 34 yards. Sky Moore, 2 catches, 33 yards. Jerick McKinnon, 2 catches, 22 yards, and a touchdown. MVS, 2 catches, 22 yards. Rashee Rice, 2 catches, 17 yards, and a touchdown. Travis Kelce. They held Travis Kelce to 3 catches for 14 yards. You would think that if the Dolphins defense held the Chiefs offense to 14 points and they held the best tight end, a future Hall of Famer, to 14 receiving yards, that they would have had this game won. Nope. And as I told you guys, I'm staying with my stance. Tua does not deserve to be the MVP. He doesn't. Now, he can certainly prove us wrong when they play the Jets, because that's their next toughest opponent. And I'm telling you guys right now, the Jets are not going anywhere because they have an easier schedule than the Miami Dolphins do coming up. They play teams like the Falcons and the Texans and the Raiders. They play the Chargers, but the Chargers find any way to lose. I'm telling you, man, if we get into a low-scoring game with the Jets, we are going to lose. We're going to lose. So, Tua, come back strong against the Jets. Go get a win against the Raiders, and then come back strong against the Jets. That's, I guess, what I have. Time to get into this game. Unfortunately, Jake Bailey had himself a day, huh? Jake Bailey was the most active Jake Bailey has been all season. He might have been our MVP, for crying out loud. First play of the game. And by the way, the Dolphins win the toss almost every week. I hate deferring to the second half because this team plays better when they have a lead. And they didn't have a lead all game. They didn't have a lead against the Eagles. They didn't have a lead against the Buffalo Bills. And they were playing from behind all game. And it came back to bite them. Pat Mahomes' first play of the game to a wide open MVS for 21 yards. Mahomes to Kelce for 4 yards. On third down, Mahomes found Sky Moore for 10 yards and a first down. First and 10, Mahomes wide open, Noah Gray, 25 yards. Then first and 10, Mahomes to Justin Watson, which is a touchdown, but overview, it is incomplete for Mahomes. And then second and 10, does not matter. Screen pass to Rashee Rice, and the Chiefs go up 7-0 over the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins then go 4 plays, 8 yards, 15 yards on the first play to Jalen Waddle. Then third and 10, Chase Claypool gets called for a false start, and then the Chiefs get called for neutral zone, and Tua gets sacked on third down. The Dolphins punt. The Chiefs, they go 5 plays, 20 yards, and they punt. Third and 10, Mahomes to Kelce for 3 yards. Then Dolphins, they go 6 plays, 38 yards. and they punt 1st and 10 at the Miami 41. Tyreek Hill for 17 yards. 3rd and 10, to Waddle for 17 yards, but then a legal shift on Cedric Wilson forces 3rd and 15. Tua to Savon Ahmed for 3 yards, 3rd and 15, and you're doing nothing I hate more when watching my offense. On any offense, I could be watching any game, and you have a chunk of yardage to go, and you throw it beneath the first down mark. There's nothing that aggravates me more. So when I saw that play, I was sick to my stomach. And then the Dolphins defense hold the Chiefs to punt again. 5 plays, 13 yards, 3rd and 10. Mahomes deep right to Justin Watson, broken up by Xavier Howard. Then we get to the second quarter. Dolphins go 4 plays, 11 yards, and they punt again. The Chiefs go 3 and out. The Dolphins, they go 3 and out in 50 seconds. Intentional grounding on Tua on 2nd down. Then on 3rd and 20, Tua to Jeff Wilson for 10 yards. The Chiefs start the next possession at their own 5-yard line. And this is when they really took control of this game. 13 plays, 95 yards in 8.5 minutes. And this is when I have to get on the defense here. This was the only time I will. This is when I have to. They're at their own 5-yard line. And you know that your offense is sleepwalking on the field. You cannot allow the Chiefs to take up 8.5 minutes off the clock. That's ridiculous, man. That's just bad. That's bad. And you weren't able to get off the field on 3rd down in this situation. 3rd and 10, Mahomes to Rashee Rice for 6 yards. 3rd and 5 at their own 10. 6 yards, 1st down. Defensive holding on Bradley Chubb makes it 1st and 10. Mahomes up the middle for 5 yards. Isaiah Pacheco for 7 yards. 2nd and 8 at the Chiefs 37. Mahomes to Kadarius Toney for 18 yards. 2nd and 12. Mahomes to Sky Moore for 23 yards. Bad read by Jalen Ramsey on that play. Mahomes scrambled for 6 yards. 3rd and 3. Mahomes, a screen pass to Jerick McKinnon, and it's a touchdown for the Chiefs. 17 yards, and the Chiefs go up 14-0 over the Miami Dolphins. And this is when the game really got away from them in the first half. This is really the only play I should talk about on this drive, but I'm not going to. I don't understand it. I don't understand the play calling by Mike McDaniel on this drive. You have 2 consecutive plays that you got chunk yardage out of. A 2nd-and-1 at the Miami 34, you got a 14-yard pass to Jalen Waddle. Then a 1st-and-10 at the Miami 48, you got a 19-yard pass to Tyreek Hill. So you're moving the ball down in chunk yardage. Then you want to get Durham Smythe for 3 yards. Okay, whatever. I don't get it. A screen pass to Tyreek Hill, which was blown up immediately. And then Trent McDuffie goes out there. He makes a play, and the Chiefs get a scoop and score. They lateral it and they get a touchdown. That killed the Miami Dolphins. That play killed them. That was brutal, that last play of the game. I didn't want to watch the game after that. I'm like, if I didn't have to come on here and do this for you guys, then I would have not watched the second half. I would have went right back to bed. That's how I felt. And at this point, the Dolphins are down 21-0 at halftime. Let's pick things up. Third quarter, Dolphins get the ball first, 3 and out. Chiefs, 5 plays, 19 yards, 3rd and 8. Mahomes scrambles for 14 yards, and it's offensive holding. This was a very controversial play where Mahomes got knocked out. He got tackled by Andrew Van Ginkel. A lot of people thought that should have been a penalty on the Dolphins. I would say the Dolphins got away with that one. I would have reset the penalties, but, I'll take it for what it was. And then 3rd and 18, Mahomes scrambles for 16 yards, nearly gets the first down, and the Chiefs punt. Dolphins go 8 plays, 80 yards in 5 minutes and 10 seconds. They finally get on the board. Tua to Jeff Wilson for 12 yards. Then Tua to Durham Smythe for 8 yards. Then Tua to Tyreek Hill for 7 yards. 3rd and 3. Tua to Durham Smythe for 6 yards. Then 1st and 10, Mostert for 5. And then 2nd and 5, Tua, a 31-yard touchdown pass to Cedric Wilson. Got the Dolphins on the board, and they're down 21-7. And then this is when we get a new lease on life. 3rd and 20 at the Dolphins, at their own 32-yard line. Mahomes is sacked by Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb forces the fumble, and it's recovered by Zach Seiler. And the defense gave the team a new lease on life. Now, luckily, the next drive, they were able to capitalize on that and get a touchdown. 4 plays, 27 yards, 3rd and 20. Tua dumped it off to Jeff Wilson for 10 yards, but then Chris Jones was called for unnecessary roughness. He was called for unnecessary roughness on the play. It gave us a first down at the Chiefs' 13-yard line, and Raheem Mostert, 13 yards, touchdown Dolphins. It is 21-14 going into the fourth quarter. And then the Chiefs, they have to punt. 7 plays, 24 yards. Mahomes deep to Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and it's incomplete. Incomplete, 4th down. The Chiefs punt. The Dolphins, they then go 12 plays, 34 yards. They nearly take up 8 minutes. This is the difference between contending teams and pretending teams. Contending teams, they take up over 8 minutes on the clock, and they get a touchdown. Pretending teams, they take over 8 minutes on the clock, and they have to punt on 12 plays. This offense, man, maybe it's not as good as we think it is. I don't know. Just maybe. Raheem Mostert, 8 yards on 2nd down. Then Raheem Mostert fumbled, and Chase Claypool recovered it. 2nd and 6. Tua to Alec Ingold for 1 yard. And then 3rd and 5. Tua to Tyreek for 7 yards. 1st and 10 at the Miami 36. Tua to Jalen Waddle for 13 yards. And then 3rd and 6 again. Tua to Tyreek down the middle for 9 yards and a first down. Then this is when the drive changed. This play right here. Savon Ahmed on a fucking end around lost 6 yards. That right there changed the entire complexity of that drive. Next play, Tua sacked. Second and 16 turns into a third and 27. Then incomplete to Jalen Waddle. You have to punt again. And this defense gave the offense so many opportunities today. 3rd and 1. They're looking to put the game away. All they have to do is hand the ball up the middle to Pacheco, and they drop Mahomes back. And Bradley Chubb gets all over his face, and he throws it away. This defense gave the offense multiple opportunities in the second half, and they came up short. So that's when I can't shit on the defense. Because the defense gave up 14 points. Again, I'm like a broken record. But the defense gave up 14 points to the best quarterback in the NFL. You would think the Miami Dolphins would have that game won. Nope. And this is when it came down. This is how disastrous the end of the game was. I cannot believe what I'm about to read to you guys. Besides these two plays. First play, Raheem Mostert, 25 yards. The next play, Raheem Mostert, 19 yards. Why you got away from the run? I don't know. I can't answer that. Tua incomplete to Mostert, which was nearly picked. Tua incomplete to Jalen Waddle. Tua threw an absolute duck. 10 yards. He threw that ball 10 yards beneath Cedric Wilson. Like, he underthrew him by 10 yards. I can't explain that. It's the worst underthrown I've ever seen in my life. And then on 4th down, Tua, horrible snap, fumble. That's game. I don't know, man. Even though I didn't think that the Dolphins were going to win this game, I had more optimism going into it than I did against the Eagles game. And if I'm being honest with you, I wasn't hurt after the Eagles game. I wasn't. But this crushed me. This crushed me, man. And we're going to have to live with the fact that the national media is going to call the Miami Dolphins frauds until they can beat a good team. And the next good team that they play is the New York Jets. And the Jets are possibly going to be 6-3 going into that game. They have a strong chance of being 6-3 going into the game against the Dolphins on Black Friday. And, take care of business against the Raiders first and foremost. But it's almost like that game against the Raiders is not going to matter. Yeah, go in there and take care of business. But then we have to show up. We have to show up against the New York Jets on Black Friday. I don't want to be overlooking the Raiders. I don't. But at this point, no one cares about those games. They only care about the games that you're playing teams over 500. And the Dolphins have 5 of those games out of 8. And you have teams lurking now. You could throw the number 1 seed out of the window. That's over. It's about the division now. And the Buffalo Bills, they're lurking. And the New York Jets, they're lurking too. It's going to be a dogfight. And I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated. This is the worst loss I've ever experienced as a Miami Dolphins fan. Yes, it's worse than the playoff loss against Pittsburgh, and it's worse than the playoff loss against the Buffalo Bills. This takes the cake. It will take, like the Phillies. it's not worse than what the Phillies did in Game 7 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't think anything will be as worse as that unless the Miami Dolphins shatter my heart in the AFC Championship game, if they even get there, which I don't think they will, or the Super Bowl. Um, Nothing will shatter my heart like the Phillies Game 7. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, man. I need to get out of here. I need to take a nap. I need to recuperate. This will take a couple days to get over. Luckily, we don't have a game next week, so the whole team can recuperate, rest up, and get ready for war. Get ready for a big game against the Raiders. So, that was hard. I'm telling you right now, that was hard to talk about. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. If you're a Chiefs fan, talk smack, man. I don't care. Like the video. Follow me on Twitter. Conlon_Joseph. I'm out. Peace.